So welcome back everybody. Here in class, the students were playing around with these pictures and nouns and verbs and ideas and came up with a few sentences here. So let's take a look. If we look at the first one, we have the noun here at the beginning, which we also call our subject, which is the dog, subject, and we have the verb play with the ball. Now, the dog played with the ball. There's something that we need to do to our verb here because it can't just not have an ending on it because we're talking about the dog. If it was myself, if it was I play with the ball, that works because I am the subject, okay? But if it is the dog, a dog is a he or a she or an it, right? So with he, she, or it, what happens to the verb? If we're talking about this is something that the dog does all the time, it's routine. The dog, we add an S, yeah, plays. Plural is a little something different, but yeah, the dog plays with the ball. If we say that, we know that that's something the dog always does, all right? Now, this one, I want to go to this one next because this is also correct. So the dog is our subject. Now here we have the verb with the ing, but we have the helper is in there, and that's right. The dog is playing in the backyard. That means that that happens right now. If it said the dog plays in the backyard, that means that's something the dog does every day, or almost every day, routine. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, here we have a little bit of a longer sentence. The super cute little puppy. Okay, so where is our noun in all of that? We say we want the noun at the beginning. The puppy, yeah. So that's our subject. And it's actually all of this is part of our subject because it's all describing the puppy. All right? So here too, you could have the little brown and white dog, and you still have your subject at the beginning, right? Those are all kinds of different parts of speech we'll talk about later. But this works. The super cute little puppy is super flexible when he plays with his owner. Now the question is, where's the verb? So we say we want our subject and then we want our verb. So where's the verb?
The verb is plays.
Okay, well we have plays down here. So this is a complex sentence. I want to talk about that part later. Could we say the super cute little puppy is super flexible and put a period there? Is that the end of that idea? We could, so let's do that. When he plays with his owner, is that a complete thought? This is getting into something much more complex, but when is what we call a conjunction. It is taking this idea and it's gluing them together. Okay, so we have one complete idea and a second complete idea. He plays with his owner. Is that a complete thought? Yes. When he plays with his owner, is that a complete thought?
No.
No. So we can't put a period there. So we have this when that's joining this thought to this thought. So if we look at this thought, what's the subject? In this.
The owner.
Nope. Where does the subject? He. Yep. Our noun or our subject there, and where's our verb? Plays. But now, where is it in this part of this sentence? The super cute puppy is super flexible. What did we say? There's two kinds of verbs, right? Mm-hmm. Action and to be verbs. Okay, so if you look back at this page I gave you right at the beginning that describes the verbs, a very simple page that looks like this, that's a being verb or a linking verb, right? Is, that's a to be verb. So it has its verb. Is the verb. Is what? Is super flexible. Okay? Yeah, so your verb isn't always going to be an action. Sometimes it's just a being verb. Okay, so for example, very simple, I am happy. Has a capital, has a period, It's a complete thought. I am happy. What's the subject? I, or the noun. What's the verb?
Happy.
Am. Yeah. Happy. We'll talk about what kind. I don't want to overload you. That's something else. But you have to really remember that your verb is not always just in action. Okay? I am happy. I play piano. Someone says, I play piano. That means they do that all the time. Here, I is the subject. The verb is play. Okay? So, if this person would do this, the super cute little puppy is super flexible, period, when he plays with his owner, I would say, well, why did you do that? And you would say, well, Jamie, you said when we have a new subject and a new verb, we need to make sure we have a period. Oh, no, but not this time, because this word is connecting these two. As soon as you use a connector, you can have a new subject and a new verb. A very common connector is and, or because, or if, or so. We'll get into those later, but yeah.
And it doesn't need a comma or anything like that.
Sometimes you need a comma.
Okay.
This one doesn't need a comma, but sometimes you will talk about commas too.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. This is what our kach is. This is what we'll do in a lot of our kachas. Yeah. Good. Okay. Move very quickly at this next couple, and then I'll just walk you through the rest of what to do in your package. Is the flower on the water? Ooh. This isn't a kind of sentence we've been working with yet. What's special about this kind of sentence? What kind of sentence is this?
It's a question.
It's a question. Look what happens when we work with questions in English, okay? I'm going to just take this. The flower, plus my verb, is where? On the water. Okay, so that's a statement. Okay, do I have my subject?
Yep.
Or my noun? Yep. Do I have a verb?
Yep.
What's my verb?
Is.
Is. Yes. My verb is. Okay, so the flower is where? On the water. Now, look what happens when we turn that into a question. What happens to the verb, the linking verb? It goes to the front. When you make a question, this goes to then your linking verb is at the front, okay? Is the flower on the water? That's what happens. We're getting into so much more than I thought we were getting. Because you guys know a lot. A lot of this stuff you just know. And I don't expect you, like kids that grow up in school in Canada, like if I said to my husband who's been to university for 20 years, write me out some verbs, adjectives, nouns, and then put them in there, he'd be like, what? What are you talking about? Because we just write. And that's what you guys do a lot, and I want you to do that. I don't want anyone to memorize this information. It's just so you have a background. When I say, oh, you need a subject and verb, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And you'll know more than my husband about grammar. Lots of English speakers don't know about the grammar of their language because that's not how you learn a language. If you studied English in your home countries, you probably did a lot of this, right? And you didn't really learn it because you just learn it by doing, okay? Yeah. All right, next. The flower floats on the water. What's our subject or noun? The flower. What's the verb?
Float.
Floats. Who, what, where, when, why? On the water. The flower floats on the water. If we say that, then we know it's always floats on the water. If we know it's going to sink at some point, the flower is floating on the water, but the rain is going to come and whatever. Okay? The pond is the best place where the frogs can cool off. Wow. Okay, what's our subject? The pond. What's our verb? Don't overthink it. Where does the verb come?
Place.
Where does the verb come? Is.
Oh boy.
That's your verb. That's your verb. Is, am, are, was, were. Those are verbs. You need it. If it just said the pond, the best place where the frogs can cool off, no one, you guys wouldn't write that. You would know you need that there, right? Is. Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. Okay, one more, and then I'll walk you through your packages. Ah, doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
I want that right now. I want that right now. Now again, here's an example of you guys getting more complex with your sentences. I had just said, say, the cake tastes amazing after supper. That's all I wanted. But somebody said, I would like to taste the cake, which is a perfect sentence, but then I have to kind of teach you something new. Then that's okay. Where's your subject? No.
I.
I. Your subject's always coming at, always, see, I'm saying the ing. Your subject always comes at the front, okay? Your subject, where does the verb come?
Would.
Would like. So these two are working together, right? Would like. And that's where it gets a little complicated with your helping verbs and all that. Let's see if I have that one on here. Yeah, that one's not on there. But would is a helper, right? I would like to taste the cake. If you take the cake out, I like to taste the cake. Or I like to taste cake in general, okay? So yeah, here's your verbs. All right. Karina baked this delicious chocolate cake when her son's birthday came up. Okay, what's our subject? Our noun. Karina. And what did Karina do? Baked. Who, what, when, where, why? Karina baked. What did she bake? This delicious chocolate cake. When? When her son's birthday came up. Okay? We won't worry about what all those other words are called. We know we have a complete thought with starting with a capital, of course, because it's primitive, ending with a period, and we have a subject and a verb. Check, check, check. Okay? Chocolate cake was eaten after school. Okay. Now, with this one, this is a complicated grammar thing too. We're talking about the past, right? What's our subject? Chocolate cake. What's our verb? Was and
After.
no, was eaten. Yeah. So this is very complicated structure that this person has used because it's called past participle. So chocolate cake was eaten after school. If the person says it this way, then we know that was a routine. So every day when the children came home, chocolate cake was eaten after school. If it happened one time, what would we need to do to this sentence? If it wasn't routine, it's just the one day. The chocolate cake was eaten after school, because now we're talking about this one specific cake, and that's our subject. But if we just say chocolate cake was eaten after school, that's saying that every day that happened for someone. When I was a kid, chocolate cake was eaten after school. Really? Every day? Oh yeah. I'd come home, my mom would be like, look honey, there you go. Okay? So just by putting the, then my subject is this specific one. Yeah.
Can I put got like instead of was?
Got
Chocolate
eaten?
cake got eaten
Got
after
eaten?
school.
Yeah, you could. That would work. Yeah. Yeah. But this.
Then it also would change like not that it was always. Like you
No,
could-
that would be always too.
Yeah.
Chocolate cake got eaten after
Oh, yeah.
school. When did chocolate cake get eaten in your house? Oh, chocolate cake got eaten in my house every day after school. Wow. If you gave me this sentence, you said chocolate cake was eaten after school, it's a complete thought, but I might ask you, sometimes I'll ask you to be clearer in your writing. Give me a little more. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? And then you might say, oh yeah, well, chocolate cake was eaten after school in the month of June. The reason for this was because my mom knew it was almost time for the break, and she thought, oh, neat, like, let's start celebrating already. Chocolate cake in June, every day after school. Okay? So, you can see how writing works to express your thoughts. Okay? So, one thing I didn't really get into, and maybe I should just mention this really briefly, and I think I kind of went on about it a little bit in the beginning here when we were talking about this sentence. Sorry. Where's our one with the when? It's a longer sentence. There we go. One thing that your papers that I've given you to work on are going to be talking about when it comes to sentences, and I'm also going to give you a video to watch that explains a little bit more about it, but it's going to be talking about fragments and run-ons. So, run-on sentences. So, a fragment is, if you think, does anybody know what a fragment is? What does the word fragment mean?
It's
Is that-
amount, aroma.
No. Oh, you're thinking, oh yeah, okay. Okay, you're thinking fragrant. And I don't know if that's
Oh.
yeah, fragrant, I think that's an A, fragrant. Fragrant, yeah, or fragrance, that's the smell.
That's so close.
Good, you're close, yeah. But here, I'm talking about fragment. Yeah.
Just one part of the
Yes,
sentence.
just one part or just one piece. So what happens sometimes is what I was describing to you guys later, or before. The super cute little puppy is super flexible. Oh, I have a new subject, a new verb. Jamie told me I need a period here. When he plays with his owner. Now what happens when we do that is this is a complete thought. The super cute little puppy is super flexible. That works. When he plays with his owner. Oh, no, that's a fragment. It's not a complete thought. Okay? Now, can you give me the example over there? You were talking about why it's important to know these certain things when you're writing because it can change the meaning. So it's important to know grammar. And you used an example. Can you give it about a grandpa?
Oh, it was like, let's eat grandpa. Or let's eat grandpa.
So grandpa.
But only the difference is where we put the comma.
Okay, so let's eat grandpa. So if we're saying let's eat grandpa, we would want to put a comma there. Let's eat grandpa. But if we say let's eat grandpa without the comma, you want to actually eat the grandpa. Okay? So same thing here. So the super cute little, the cup is super cute. When he plays with his owner, comma, he always wags his tail. Okay? So now we have two complete ideas. Then we would need to make this into a capital. Does that make sense? So that is fragment, not fragrant, but fragment. Now the other problem is sometimes run-on sentences. Okay? Sometimes I'll see people do this. The super cute little puppy is super flexible, comma, when he plays with his owner, comma, he always wags his tail. Now I have three ideas, no periods, just commas. People love commas. I know this from this class for many years, is that people think that they end their idea and they put a comma there. Meanwhile, they have a new subject and a new verb, a new subject and a new verb, and there's just commas, 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 commas. Okay? So run-on sentences is another thing that we'll be working with. All right? Any questions? This was a very fast lesson in all those things, but there's also another video that I put on WhatsApp for you guys to watch, and it's this one here, writing a good sentence with this guy, simple sentences. Now you guys were already getting into complex sentences with what you were doing today. You were joining lots of different ideas. But this is a little lesson on simple sentences. It's literally 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So I would say to give that a listen. So let's take a look now where we are at in our checklist, just as we sum up here. So if you go through your packet, starting at the beginning, so turn to the front of your package now. So we started off by reviewing pre-writing, did some brainstorming and stuff together, and then we took a look at Quizlet. I would encourage you to go and look back and look at both Quizlets now. So the one that's asking you these questions, you should be able to answer some of those now. Okay, so take a look at those. And if you can't get your Quizlets, please let me know. Then if you want to practice spelling, you could take a look at these as well. So that was the next thing in your packet. That's that. And then we had a mini grammar lesson on nouns and verbs. So I said watch and listen the activity. Watch and listen the activities. You guys catch my typo? 2. The lesson and activities on nouns and verbs. So you can watch this video and the ones I've posted for you. Read the handouts. So you have lots of handouts. Parts of speech, word types, what is a noun. Watch how the class completes the worksheet. That was the one where you put in the nouns, right? Did that together. Read the handout on verbs. What are verbs? Using verbs in sentences. So you have all those handouts. Mini lesson on sentences. That's what we just did right now. And I've given you some handouts on sentences as well. There's one called an introduction to sentence construction. It looks like, let's see if I can find it here. I don't know if I have it pulled up. I don't think I have it pulled up. Can you guys find it in your package? There's one called an introduction to sentence instruction.
Mm-hmm.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Everyone should have that in their package. So you can take a look at that. Then you get down to this one that says practice with nouns, verbs, and sentences. Complete the following worksheets. So these are all, people love worksheets and I don't give them very often, so enjoy these while you have them. Because usually I just make you think. Worksheets sometimes make you go into a state where you just start, circling things and not really thinking. So there's this one that says I love nouns. And the next one should be, so there's a part 1 and part 2, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's one on to be verbs, circling part 1. And action verbs, identifying part 1. And, here's the sentence structure one, introduction to sentence construction. And then there's this one, identifying sentences. So tick the complete sentences below, then add words to the ones you haven't ticked to make them complete sentences. So tick means like a check mark. So there's that one as well.
We just have to check mark when it's, sorry, can you repeat
Yep.
again?
So the ones that are complete, so Naz ran quickly, so do we have a subject? Everybody say yes. Who's the subject? Naz. And what did he do? Ran. And how did he run? Quickly. Is it a complete sentence?
Yes.
Yes. So click.
Okay.
Right? Then, if I'm lucky, I'll let you decide if that's correct or not. If it's not, you don't put a tick in that box.
Oh, okay.
You don't put a check mark here, but instead you make it into a complete sentence.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. So there's that one. So those are just the kind of the things to help you practice. Like I said, you won't get those very often in my class, so enjoy them. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, enjoy those in those worksheets. I know some people really like to do those. Then the last thing is a little bit of a thicker package, pages 12 to 15 of a little packet of papers, which is the follow-up to the work you did last week from the writing book. Editing Your Writing, it's called. You guys find it? For you online, it looks like this. You guys have it? Great. So this, again, is just more practice with the idea of sentences and stuff like that. And then if you turn the page, it has you doing some more activities, has you working with some simple sentences. And the last thing that it asks you here, practice 8, the paragraph it's asking you to edit is on the back side there. So I don't think there are any periods or anything in this paragraph. So there's your chance to see where the subjects and verbs start. Sometimes it helps, and they've done it here in the middle. I should be showing this to you guys too. Sometimes it helps to underline your subject and your verb when you're practicing with sentences to know when they're coming. And that's something I will do often. Oh yeah, here on the first page as well. They underline the subjects, yeah. That's something I'll be doing a lot in your editing when I hand you your work back. I will underline an S and V. S and V, you guys will know S and V. And subject, again, is just another word for noun. Yeah. the noun that's at the front. Because you have other nouns in your sentences too, right? We're not going to talk about those ones. Okay, so you're going to do that. And then the last thing is you might be thinking, how does this all work for my assignment? So if you turn now to the last thing in your package, does nobody have it?
I have just this.
Oh,
and that's
This one.
Oh no! Okay, I better go look at all the packages now. Everybody is supposed to have paper that looks like this. So I'm gonna pause the recorder and I'm gonna go make copies and then I'm gonna check and make sure all your packages have this with them. Okay. This